Hello and happy Monday, everyone. Can you believe another week has flown by and it's time again for Bobcast? Time is just flying. I have no idea what the heck's going on. So before we get started, because I know that I'm going to rant a little bit tonight, I'm going to give you ways to reach out to me as always. On Facebook, it's Bob Norman. My business pages are Buff Monkey Marketing and Ultimate Streaming Media. Also on Instagram, it's buff_monkey. On Twitter, it's @buff_monkey. On email, it's buff_monkey at Reagan, just like the president's name, .com. And on YouTube, my channel is Big Norm 1963. So as always, please keep the topic suggestions, the comments and feedback coming, and also please continue to share these Bobcasts if you would. Excuse me, I have a scratchy throat. So, let's get right into this. The title of tonight's Bobcast is Interest or Commitment. What in the world do I mean by that? Well, this is what, excuse me, let me turn this off here so we don't have any interruptions. Over the weeks, over the last year or so, we've talked about, hi Jody, we've talked about 1,000 things. We've talked about goals, we've talked about setting goals, about accomplishing things, about what it takes, about being honest with yourself and excuses and all these topics. And last week we discussed change. So what I want to ask you about is this. When you decide to go and figure out your goals, to write down your goals, because that is the absolute key. The first thing you need to do is figure out what you want, right? So when you figure those things out and you write them down, then I told you even more importantly is to understand why you want to accomplish those goals and that they need to be a deep-seated why, something that comes from right down in here, deep down, that's not going to let you quit, okay? But when you determine that why, you're going to also answer a question, and the question is, are you interested in doing something or accomplishing something or changing something, or are you committed to it? And the difference is this, the saying is this, when you're interested in something, you will do it when it's convenient. When you're committed to it, you'll do it no matter what it takes. And it's very simple concept, but most people, if you remember the Bobcast regarding excuses, what are excuses? Excuses are lies that we tell ourselves to make ourselves feel better about not doing something. Okay? So, when you understand whether you're interested or committed, you'll know whether that goal is going to be achievable for you. See, this topic kind of came up yesterday. I went to an event. Some dear friends of mine on here, Dave and Colette, set up at a vendor show, Christmas show. And so Anastasia and I spent a couple days together, and we went over to the show and to support my friends, and are also my business partners with ISTV, and support them and spend the day and go look around a Christmas show. And what I noticed, because I'm going to be doing a Christmas show, vendor show this weekend, Saturday, and I've done them before, and what I've noticed about it is this. There were vendors of all different types there whose setup, should I say, was a table with a tablecloth and some products sitting on it, and figuring somebody would buy them, okay? They weren't interacting with the customers very well or potential customers, just a lot of things that just made you go, why are you even here? And then you get over to Dave and Colette's display, and it was beautiful. It was professionally done. It was laid out to the T, and they were there. They had their shirts on that represented their business. They were talking to customers, engaged in customers, had people gathered around, okay? The difference is some of the folks treated their business like it was a hobby because it was an interest. Dave and Colette are committed to their success. So they treated their business like a business. I don't know if that story makes a lot of sense to you, but I want you to understand that if you are interested in something, like I said, you'll do it when it's convenient. And so if you're tired, or if you were out late the night before, or whatever, maybe you didn't give 100% to that business that day when that should have been your commitment, at least according to what you wanted to accomplish. And I've seen this in many, many different areas over the years. As you guys know, since I retired, I've been going to school to be a doctor of naturopathy and working with health and wellness and weight loss with people a lot as well. And what I'm going to tell you is I've seen it. You see it in weight. Listen, let's be honest. What is coming up in just a little over a month? Here's your answer. New Year's Eve. And what happens on New Year's Eve? 90% of the people on the planet, or at least in this country, swear that they're going to get fit, eat healthy, lose weight. I used to hate it. The weight room was packed in January. But then I knew that come February, the weight room would be empty again because all of those New Year's resolutions were just interest. They weren't committed to it. Okay? That's probably the best example. And how many people do you know that sit in front of a television? And I don't say this makes you bad, okay? But I'm saying, how many people do you know sit in front of a television and admire stars? I'm a huge Pens fan, hockey fan, right? I see Sidney Crosby on the ice. I see Malkin on the ice. I was a huge Fleury fan. But I see these guys on the ice, and they're at the top of their game. They're the best in the world. And they didn't get to be the best in the world by saying, I really don't. I'm going to go out with the boys and have some beers tonight. I'm not going to practice. Do you get the point? There are those that do it because they're committed, and the rest of the folks sit at home on the couch or on the bar stool wishing they were that person, living vicariously through them. It really comes down to interest and commitment. With hockey, I'm very interested in it. I have no idea how to play it, can't skate, not committed to it, but I'm interested in it. But it's an analogy to use in any area of your life. So if you're committed to your relationship, you'll work on it. If you're interested, if it gets tough, maybe you'll leave. If it's your job, if it's your business, if it's school, if it's your health, I don't care what it is. If you say you want to do it, you got to commit to it or you will fail. Bottom line, you've got to be committed. That doesn't mean that you don't ever walk away from anything, because sometimes something doesn't work, whether it's a relationship, whether it's a business, whether it's a school or whatever it is. Sometimes you got to change those things. That's being a realist. But you've got to be committed to it. If you give something 100% because you're absolutely committed to it, then you will have a higher chance of success. So you've got to ask yourself, is this something that just interests me, or am I truly committed to it? And if you're truly committed to it, you'll do what Dave and Colette did Sunday, and you'll have a professional display set up, and you'll be there a couple of hours before the thing starts, getting everything set up, making sure everything works, making sure everything's ready. And that's what I'll be doing this Saturday at the Uniontown Hilton Garden for the Dreaming of Hawaiian Christmas event. I'll be in there 2 hours before that thing starts, making sure everything's set up to the T's, because that's my business and I'm committed to it. So what is it in your life that you say you want that you're not achieving? You need to look at that and decide if it's just something you say you want and you're interested in, or you absolutely committed to it. Remember, if you're interested in something, you'll do it only when it's convenient. If you're committed to it, you'll do it no matter what it takes. As always, I'm going to put a link in the comment section. It's going to be a Gary Vaynerchuk video. Gary is incredible. Dave and I, we love the guy. We listen to his posts and his videos all the time, and he's incredible. He's got a lot of rough language. He just tells it like it is and uses some rough language, so if that bothers you, don't watch it. But if you want to hear the straight out truth on whether you're being committed to something or just interested, click the link that I'm going to put in the comments section and watch Gary Vaynerchuk. You guys have a great Monday night. I've got to prep for a 7 a.m. meeting, and I've got a lot to do to get my commitments met. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch everybody on the next Bobcast.